Very good morning to all our viewers today. We have a young social entrepreneur who has a very rich experience in entrepreneurship, in green technology, and presently he's leading Plastic to Green. And we are very grateful that he could take time and is joining us. Thank you, Ed, for joining us. We see that you have such a diverse experience in the field of entrepreneurship. You started as an entrepreneur from MIT with Adeline Research INC and now are leading Plastic to Green. How has your journey been, and would you like to share some experiences of yours?
Yes, it's been a long journey of trying to help save the planet from long ago. Basically, our original technology was for improving the fuel economy of cars. And I worked in that industry for um 14 years within that company, and then another 7 or 8 years within another company that I developed technology for the automotive industry for. It's been a heck of a journey. It's also been a learning lesson about how difficult it is to make change in existing industries. So the opportunity to make change is really more available startups in some respects, because if you break new ground in a new industry, it's easier, I would say, for somebody like Google to come out of a brand new industry compared to making even small changes to an existing industry like automotive.
Yes, indeed. And well, as you mentioned, you have been an impact entrepreneur for more than a decade. You also led Wave Solar Technologies and now
Mhm.
Tetrahedron Racing and Plastic to Green. Would
Yes.
you like to share what was the inspiration behind starting each?
Um, the wave solar was really because we wanted to change the paradigm of solar and how it worked, because solar thermal panels collect about 90% of the energy from the sun, whereas solar PV panels only collect 25 to 30% of the energy from the sun. So we thought we could use all of that heat energy and make electricity, make air conditioning using a chiller technology from the heat, and then use the leftover energy for hot water. And so, all in all, it was an attempt to use 90% solar energy as opposed to 25 to 30% solar energy. And so, again, it was another opportunity to try to try and save the planet by improving the efficiency of how much solar energy we can essentially bring into the house from the rooftop.
Okay. And how about the Tetrahedron Racing and Plastic to Green?
Well, I'm a race car driver. One of the things I did at MIT was actually run the MIT racing team for 9 years. And so that uh, racing background, you might say, I came up with the idea of using a tetrahedron for a sailboat. And the tetrahedron molecule, not molecule, but shape, is the strongest structure known to man. You can see one behind me. I guess I'm pointing to the wrong side. Behind me here, that's a tetrahedron. Basically, once it's three dimensional. And so I also have an ammonia molecule on my shirt. I'm backwards in my own picture. So anyway, a tetrahedron molecule on my suit, and that's the ammonia molecule. So I was developing a sailboat around the strongest structure in the world. And so by doing that, we could make the lightest weight sailboats, and therefore they could fly on foils and go much faster. So the idea was to at first break the world speed record in sailing, and then from that build a sailboat company. But that company is on hold until we can get Plastic to Green off the ground.
Okay, that's very interesting and inspiring. Now, presently, you are also leading and tackling the waste challenges across the globe
Yes.
with the help of plastic to green. Would you share more about it, and what is the geographic focus of this?
Plastic to green is really an attempt to clean up waste plastic. So there are so many waste plastics that don't get recycled. Recycling as an industry is doing fairly poorly at keeping the plastics out of the ocean, keeping the plastics out of the landfill. And so there are so many different types of plastic. Some have value after they're made, but most do not. And so um, our attempt here was first the annoyance of what was happening with plastics in the environment, and that the fact that they were getting into our the fish and into our food and into ourselves. And so that started the search for a solution. And I saw a company in California turning waste plastic into green hydrogen, which is great. Green hydrogen is a wonderful thing for the future, but as a combustion engineer from MIT, I couldn't stop at hydrogen, because hydrogen is the most flammable substance in the world. It's flammable between a 2-to-1 mixture and a 72-to-1 mixture. So that's just as a combustion engineer, it's the one fuel I'm afraid of. And so I knew from the ship, being in the boating industry and looking at the sailboat technology, that the shipping industry had already decided that their hydrogen fuel of the future was going to be um, ammonia as the carrier of the hydrogen. So I came up with a way to take the plastic to hydrogen directly to ammonia in one thermodynamic step. And then I went searching for if that was patented, and it turned out it hadn't been patented yet. So we filed patents and incorporated earlier this year in order to essentially turn waste plastic into ammonia. And so it's a very good opportunity to essentially create the fuel of the future from the waste plastic that doesn't get recycled.
That's a that's an excellent opportunity for everybody.
Yes, I hope so. I think so. And we were also the first company to get into the hydrogen loan program from the Department of Energy. So they came out in June with a loan program for companies with innovative technology. And so basically, the program manager there said we were the first company he's talked to in 2 weeks since the program started that actually qualifies for the loan. And so when we asked for $100 million, they said, no, you have to ask for a lot more than that. They need their average loan size to be $1 billion. So
Right.
since then, we've grown in our business plan and what we're asking for. Those first 6 plants need to be in the United States to be funded by the Department of Energy, but we intend to go global as soon as possible to be able to clean up plastics all over the world.
Oh, wow, that's very inspirational, and so good that this is happening. So now that this the for founders, usually money is a challenge. Now that this problem is solved, so what are the challenges?
We're actually having trouble with the other side of the money. It's like we need the bridge to get to the loan, and so we still have some not really development work, but design work. We have to design our plants, and then we have to get them permitted, and we have to get the land on which to build them. And so there's lots of work we have to do in the next 2 years so that we can break ground on our first of 6 plants that we have the funding for, but we have to get the funding for the design work. So it's still a fundraising challenge, even
I
today.
see. I see. Yeah,
It's
it's a continuous way, it's a continuous progression.
right.
Um, so, have you all been operational lately, or if so, and what are the clients that you all are catering to?
Um, we're really developing a business to business company. So we will be selling our carbon black to people like Michelin who are asking for recycled carbon black. They no longer want to use fresh carbon black that just comes from the oil industry. And so uh, those are the kind of companies we're targeting and trying to make connections with. And we're also in the ammonia side. It looks like Europe is paying the highest price for green ammonia, so we're going to make ammonia and ship it to Europe in order to get the high price of green ammonia in Europe. And so in Europe, they're already designing systems and power plants to run on either ammonia, or they break the ammonia back apart into hydrogen and nitrogen in order to use it as just hydrogen.
I
But
see.
getting it across the ocean is much safer and easier and more compact as ammonia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really nice. Now that you mentioned that you are getting the loan from the government and the banks, are you also looking for VC funding or angel funding?
Yes, both. We're looking for big angel funding and VC funding to be able to essentially bridge the gap from here and do all the design work and all the permitting work to be able to then take the DOE loan in 2 years to be able to start construction.
I see. And what is your vision for the upcoming 5 years?
Um, well, our goal in 5 years is to have already started construction and have already had two plants starting production of the ammonia and the carbon black and the carbon nanotubes, and taking in at least 100 tons of plastic per day. And so, 5 year goal is to have two plants running and four more plants under construction.
I see. Very, very, very nice. And so, we as an IICSR are an institute dedicated to training the corporations on sustainable development, corporate social responsibility, and research and development. What is the role that we could play in this to achieve this goal? And what if you see that there are any educational challenges that the society is facing? What is that we could introduce?
Sure. Well, we can use lots of strategic help with where to locate. So, if there are companies that are plastic waste producers, and we can locate our factory or plant nearby uh, in order to reduce the carbon footprint carbon footprint of the transfer of the plastic to us. That would be helpful. We also support getting the plastic out of the ocean, and we can process that plastic. Very few other technologies can take that plastic waste that's waterlogged from the ocean and be able to process that properly, but we can. And so that's really important to have sort of an end use way to clean up the environment and have a way to turn that into clean fuel and do that in a zero CO2 process. And on the other side of your question, we definitely, from an educational perspective, it's really coming down to ammonia being the technology choice of the future. There are other options, and all the options are on the table: green methanol and green hydrogen by itself. And some people are afraid of ammonia because it smells, and it does have an asphyxiation worry, but it's not flammable, and it's very easy to solve an ammonia leak. One is you detect it very early because the human nose can detect ammonia at a very, like 15 parts per billion. So it's very easy to detect a leak and when it's small. But it also can be solved by quenching with water, because ammonia and water mix very easily. And so the way you solve an ammonia leak is to spray the area with water, and that takes away the ammonia and turns that liquid into fertilizer. So if it goes down the drain, it's not going to harm anything in the environment. It'll make things grow better. It can be a little bit negative when too much ammonia gets in a river and it causes an algae bloom. But all in all, ammonia can be dealt with and is not flammable at room temperature and pressure. And so we like ammonia, but it's going to take some amount of education to educate people that ammonia is going to be the fuel of the future. Toyota already agrees with us because they're coming out in 2026 with an ammonia powered car. So given the companies that are getting on board with ammonia as a future fuel, primarily the shipping industry and Toyota is another example, but there's semis being developed to run on fuel cells, and the ammonia can be what's in the tank, and then you use a cracking technology between the ammonia tank and the fuel cell to run the heavy duty truck. And so that's being developed in the industry, but it's going to take some education uh, to get people used to the idea of filling up their tank with ammonia.
So, thank you for the feedback. If you have any small capsule that you would want us to share with the people, please feel free to share. We are happy to do that. And it has been lovely talking to you. Any final message to all the people watching this right now or who would watch it in future, the recorded sessions?
Um, just that cleaning up the planet, we can use all the help we can get and all the competition we can get. We invite everybody to join this fight to clean up plastic out of our environment, and so we're happy to support anyone and everyone involved in the process of plastic cleanup, because it is already in our food supply and we need to provide enough economic justification to stop dumping it in the landfill or dumping it in the ocean. So we're looking forward to being successful at cleaning up massive amounts of plastic in the future.
That's great. And if people want to reach out to you or corporations want to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
We have a website, and if you contact us through the website, I get an email directly, and I respond to everybody who comes into plastic2green.com. And you can also reach me at ed.vandyne at plastic2green.com. So I'm happy to uh, talk to just about anyone that is interested in working with us to support this mission of cleaning up the planet and creating carbon-free fuel for the future.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so very much, Ed. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and
Yes,
we wish you all the best and happy to collaborate in near far future to make this mission realize.
great. Thank you very much, Harsha. I appreciate your invitation and I appreciate your organization and look
Thank
forward to
you.
working with you in the future.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day ahead.